Hello, everybody. Today we're going to do an article called Get Your Passion Moving Without Quitting Your Day Job. This is an article from Harvard Business Week Review, and I have pasted the link to the page to the article right here so you can go and review it, which I highly recommend. And when you get done with that, you'll be a little more or feel a little more professional or competent at reading more advanced articles. Anyway, let's get going here. Get your passion project moving without quitting your day job. Your passion project means like maybe your career or your dream job or dream business idea. Okay, you finally figured out what you want to do with your life. Start a company, launch a website, design an app, or found a nonprofit. Found means to establish nonprofit. The only problem is that you can't afford to quit your job and lose your benefits in order to pursue it full time, in order to go after it or make it happen. So where should you start? What's the best way to get your passion project moving? And how can you tell when you're ready to strike out on your own? To strike out on your own, be independent and do it on your own. What the experts say, what the experts say, what the experts say. That's a little subtitle there, folks. What the experts say. Knowing where your professional passion lies puts you in a good position, says Dory Clark, author of Reinventing You. Define your brand and imagine your future. It's a book. You might want to think about that. We could even do some experts from that book if you're interested. Lots of people don't know what they want to do. They're struggling because they are not happy doing what they're doing, but they don't know what else is out there. And struggling, having a difficult time. An idea is certainly a promising start, but executing it while holding down a busy full-time job, is undoubtedly a challenge. Undoubtedly, surely, clearly, understandably, a challenge. Executing it, doing it or performing it, not executing somebody, executing an idea. Okay, so let's keep going. You've nailed the 1%. You've nailed the 1% inspiration. Now it's time for the 99% perspiration, says Daniel Galati, the co-author of Passion and Purpose, Stories from the Best and Brightest Young Business Leaders. You've nailed it. You've nailed it. Nailed it means you've got it. You have mastered it. You've nailed the 1%. There should be a comment here. They didn't put a comment. You nailed the 1%. Inspiration. Inspiration is only 1% of doing your own business or starting out on a new project or following your passion. Inspiration is just a tiny, tiny part. The biggest part is perspiration. 99% perspiration. Perspiration means what? Yeah, it means sweat, but it also, in this context, means hard. All right, well, let's go down to the next. If you're committed to making it happen, there are ways, says Clark. So whether you want to start a company that could become the next big thing, or you have a hobby that you'd like to spend more time on, here are some ideas to get your idea up and running. To get your idea up and running. Up and running means going, moving forward. First, create a strategy. Begin by sketching out, getting an idea, drawing out a rough drawing, or a rough map, exactly what it is you want to achieve, says Galati. Is it a large, scalable company? Is it a small company? What does they mean by scalable? It means you can change the size of it. Ascendable, mountable, accessible. Scalable means you can change the size, smaller or bigger. Is it a large, scalable company? Is it a small company? Is it a charitable organization? You want to have specific, concrete goals to shoot for, including revenue targets and social impact. Here, hold on for a second. Sorry about that. Oh. All right. Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so where were we at now? I'm going to start from here again. Begin by sketching out, drawing out, making a basic, simple picture, exactly what you want to achieve. Is it a large, scalable company, or is it a small company? Is it a charitable organization? Charitable? Nonprofit. Do you want to have specific, concrete goals, solid goals to shoot for, to aim for, to go for, including revenue targets and social impact? All right, so sketching out, what does that mean? Drawing out a simple picture. Scalable is something that you can change the sizes, adjust the sizes of. To scale something also means to climb something, right? All right, let's continue. Next, make a timeline. All right, a timeline is like a schedule. Make a timeline based on what you think you can reasonably accomplish towards your project in the time you have. Next, make a timeline based on what you think you can reasonably accomplish towards your goal in the time you have. I like repeating sentences sometimes. So, your biggest constraint, your biggest obstacle, possibly, your biggest constraint is or restriction. Your biggest constraint is how many hours you have to devote to this side project. Side project means it's not your regular project. It's just an extra project that you're doing outside of your regular job or regular schedule. It's a side project. Your biggest constraint is how many hours you have to devote to this side project. So commit to an end date. So commit to, okay, like promise yourself or make a decision for an end date. So when you want to leave your job, right? Because the idea is to leave your job, right? Eventually you want to leave your job and do your dream job or a dream project. So to commit to an end date when you'd ideally like to leave your job and solve backward from there. So find solutions or a plan backward from there. As you chip away, as you work toward your project, continue to give your job the attention it needs. Your day job takes precedence. What does that mean? Takes precedence means it's the most important, right? You must also be willing to extend your timeline, your schedule. If you proposed your idea, your proposed end date doesn't seem realistic the closer you get. That's Clark. Be prepared to make adjustments. Okay, so as you know, with Word document, you can right-click on a word. Right-click on a word. It's not working here. Oh, let's go here. You should be able to right-click on a word. Yeah, not working. Why is it not working? You should be able to right-click and get the definition, but that's not working for me right now. Weird. Okay, let's go on to the next paragraph. Very strange. Save your money, or I'm sorry, save money. That's another step, right? Save money. Having financial security gives you the opportunity to build your business on your terms in the way that you want, says Galetti. But if your ultimate goal is to one day leave your job and devote yourself full time to your project, you'll need a financial cushion, some savings, financial cushion, some savings, particularly to get you through the early stages of your new venture, your new business, your new idea. Your timeline, she says, should include clearly defined targets for each month or quarter and, if necessary, plan for raising money from investors. Raise money. Get people to invest in your idea. If you don't have sufficient funds, you don't have enough funds when you leave your job, you will make bad business decisions out of fear, right? So if you don't have enough money, you might make some bad mistakes because you're worried too much, right? Next, take control of your schedule. Perhaps the biggest challenge is finding time in your busy schedule to work on your project. A good starting point, says Clark, is to begin keeping a time log, a record of how much time you spend on things and how much time you spend a day. Look at how you're spending your time and make sure you're using it the way you want to, she says. The log will ideally help you discover valuable stretches of free time, okay, valuable stretches, valuable periods of free time that you've either missed or not accounted for, forgot about. And that could be channeled, that could be funneled, that could be, directed into your new endeavor, your new business idea, enterprise. If after looking at your log you've uncovered very little wiggle room, this is great. Wiggle room means flexible room, extra space, extra time. You might explore the idea of outsourcing your project to a paid helper, outsourcing. Getting someone else to work on something, to a paid helper. For instance, you can hire someone to help you code, program, or pay an independent freelance consultant to do the market research. If you're cash rich and time poor, look for opportunities to trade money for time. So in other words, you figure out a way to do some trading. If you're cash rich and time poor, that means you have plenty of money, you just don't have the time. So you can look for a way to trade money for time. In other words, pay somebody else to do the stuff that takes time. Next, patch weak spots. What does that mean? Patch means cover up or mend or fix the areas that are not very strong. Clark recommends listing the concrete skills you need to develop in order to be successful at pursuing your full-time passion. Let me read it again. Clark recommends listing the concrete skills you need to develop in order to be successful at pursuing your passion full-time. Once you have a list of necessary skills, figure out how to acquire them. Right? Concrete, remember we talked about that before, it means solid.